How's it going, everyone? The Trout91 here, back for the Sassuolo playthrough. This is episode number 17. In the last episode, we had a fantastic episodic saga of highs and lows. I'm going to quickly run through you what happened, but if you haven't checked it out, I do recommend you do exactly that, and it will be in the description down below. The first game was against Crotone, and we won 3-1. Ricci, Magdanelli, and Duncan grabbing the goals in that matchup. Next up, we played Ferencváros in the Europa League, our 5th game of the group stage, and we won in a very convincing fashion, 3-0, Leonardo ULLOA grabbing 2 goals and Emmanuel Thomas rounding the day off. The third game was against Napoli, which was a massive game for both teams in that. Unfortunately, we weren't at our best, and Insigne was the only man to score in that occasion, ending the game 1-0. And finally, we won against Lazio 3-1, which was a dramatic and exciting matchup from the start to the finish. It was Matteo Politano who started things off for us, and Leonardo ULLOA finishing up with 2 great goals individually. So today we're going to run through the last 3 games of the 2016 year. We've only got 3 more matches left before we have the Christmas break and the January transfer opens. Now our first game is up against Man United, the last Europa League group stage game of the competition. We've pretty much secured ourselves a 2nd round placement, so I wasn't too bothered about how this game goes. I just tried a few tactics out, rest the people that I needed to rest, and got on with the proceedings. I decided to play a 4-1-2-on-2 narrow. We made a handful of changes to rest a lot of our players who are obviously going to be big coming up into the next few games. Alongside resting players, potentially putting a lot more of those players in the midfield and compacting them a little bit more might give us a fighting edge against some of the stronger teams. It was almost like a trial for teams like Juventus, Inter Milan, those teams who are taking points away from us that obviously shouldn't be, and we want to be contesting against them to get to those higher positions in the league table. And funnily enough, we actually lasted about 45 minutes before conceding to Marcus Rashford, who bagged the first. Things unravelled from there, Wayne Rooney grabbing the second, Marouane Fellaini following up with a third, and it was ended up with Jesse Lingard getting the 4th goal of the evening. Not really good having the stuffing kicked out of you in a game such as that, especially when it meant nothing to really both of the teams involved. But we had to recompose ourselves and go against Sampdoria. Now, we had a fit lineup going into this one, and we were back to our 4-1-2-3 formation. The only difference this time is Gary Hooper has come back from his injury, so ULLOA drops to the bench. We're also still waiting on Consigli to make his return to the starting lineup. It was a good game. We opened up the scoring 15 minutes into the matchup. Alfred Duncan, in typical fashion, scores an absolute screamer from outside the box. The second came from Sensi, finding a great ball to Gary Hooper, who volleyed it against a player of Sampdoria and deflected past the keeper into the back of the net. They did make us sweat, however, as Barreto scored from outside the box to make it 2-1, but we held out for the 3 points. So today's game against Udinese, we have got a slight problem. Magdanelli's actually picked up an injury, so Duncan's going to have to drop back to defensive midfield. Pellegrini's going to come into centre midfield playing that box-to-box role. We are at home, so I'm going to be playing aggressive style, high tempo, direct passing. Gary Hooper, I played him as a false 9 last episode, see if I could get a little bit more out of him and potentially see if it would help out the wingers getting involved and potentially scoring some more goals, obviously, against some of the lower teams. We are having an unusual moment or two where we just can't seem to bag ourselves a goal. So that is why I played him false 9. I have stuck him back at advanced forward to see how that impacts the game, and I am making sure we close down a lot of these players just because I want to secure this victory. It's going to be the last game before the Christmas break, and I want to send these boys away on a high. Just trying to give them a passionate team talk. We have managed to fire up the defense, and I'm getting straight into things to see how we get on. Oh, that's a good start. Oh, Gary Hooper providing the ball that time. Politano cutting inside and getting his head on that. Unfortunately, it's not going to go in the back of the net. I wasn't expecting something so soon. Ali Adnan cuts inside. He beats his man, goes for the cross, and Ante intercepts that header. Gabriel Silva tries to keep the play alive as DePaul gets it in the end, and it goes wide. It's a fiery couple of minutes here. Some nice passing from the boys in green and black, as Pellegrini tries to lob the ball forward to Ricci, but it's not really an accurate one. Ricci picks up the ball. Gary Hooper goes for the shot, and Carnezes makes the stop. Gary Hooper actually on 6 league goals so far, and my boy Ouija challenged him to get 7 goals. Now he only needs 1 to beat his expectations. So if he manages to pick one up here, I'll be quite impressed, especially before the Christmas break. He's actually had a good season so far. I think a lot of his goals have come in Europe. When I think about it, I think he scored maybe like 15 odd goals so far in the season in all competitions. And a couple of those obviously came in the qualifying stages of Europe. Nevertheless, he has had a good season. It's just a shame he was injured for a couple of weeks. I think he could offer... I could do with a striker who offers a bit more, I will say that. I think it's hard to choose between ULLOA and Gary Hooper because... Oh, here we go. Juvan hits the woodwork and he's not respected the equipment there. Let's concentrate on that one. Seriously, we need to not throw this away against Udinese. They are a solid enough side, but it's hard to choose between Gary Hooper and ULLOA because ULLOA's actually come on and he's done exactly what I want. When I need the goal, he's come on and he usually provides the goal that I need him to in the later stages. But I'm not really gaining much from him as far as the deal goes. He's on loan. I'm paying all his wages and I'm sitting him on the bench. Let's see if encouraging Gary Hooper works because it's been a while since I last saw him score. I'm trying to think. I think the last time we saw him score was against Chavo, and that, even though it's only been a few episodes since then, it's been quite a few games since that time. So I want to pump him up and see if it helps him out. If he can start getting on firing form again before the January transfer window opens, I won't have to worry too much about replacements. Because I am a little bit cautious about the fact that we invested a lot of money in someone like Ranella, who's been an absolute flop and a half. And I don't want Gary Hooper to suddenly think that he's not good enough. And I want him to succeed. I don't want an excuse to play ULLOA, if you know what I mean. Because then it just means I've got Hooper sitting on the bench, who I paid all that money for. Beverage of choice is orange juice today, for those of you wondering at home. I should do that. Hashtag daily drinks with Trout. What drink are you having today? I'll keep you updated. Ball is whipped in. Consigli claims that one. Obviously, Consigli coming back into goalkeeping contention after his injury. We haven't actually had a bad stint as far as the games go. Obviously, we lost against Napoli in the end. Pellegrini's hit the post this time. With a nice effort. He does love a long shot. You know what's the worst thing is? You have a starting keeper who's obviously so much better than your backup keeper. We haven't actually suffered too much as a result of him being away. I remember playing like a West Ham save, and obviously you had Adrian, and the next one was Randolph. I think Randolph's obviously improved as a goalkeeper a lot since last year, but he was dreadful in goal, and as soon as Adrian went out injured, that was it. We were basically going to lose every game. Any chance the opposition had against us, we were going to concede. Fortunately, Pagolo, he didn't have too much to do in some of the games, and when he did do a good job. With the January transfer window right around the corner, I said this in the last episode, are there any parts of the team you guys think I should strengthen? I have my ideas on the kind of things that I want to strengthen, maybe get a few more people in, because obviously I don't want to go too crazy. Gary Hooper with the shot! It's deflected in! Hey, Gary Hooper. It's a long time since we've heard that theme song. He scores his 7th Serie A goal, 14th of the season. He's on form all of a sudden. And Ouija, I'll accept your apology in the comment section down below, mate. I'm glad he proved you wrong. It's Gary Hooper, the big GH. Has not been messing about. The Hoopernator is back. I'm a happy manager right now. The gaffer is pleased with Gary Hooper, big Gary Hooper. As I said last episode, some of the transfers were a little bit questionable at times. Oh, he's going to get sent off, isn't he? Gary Hooper's definitely done wonders, I think, for the team. He's been a good addition. Antione with the booking there. He's gotten away with it there. But I think Gary Hooper's been a solid signing. Definitely the best signing I've made so far. I mean, when I look back at the whole team and I think about the signings I made and what originally was in the team, I didn't actually have to sell Gregor Defrel. I could have probably made use of the team as it was. I think there was nothing really wrong with the team. If I had kept the team exactly as it was, probably could have done exactly as I'm doing right now. I think, if anything, I'd probably replace Defrel with more players rather than majorly improving the team, I guess. I didn't buy anyone who's majorly made a step up as far as the quality of the team. I needed players like Nicholas Frey to, you know, round out the squad. I've needed a few attacking midfielders to give me extra legs in case there were some injuries, which is why I bought some of the players I did. Not because they were amazing players. They were squad players. They weren't too expensive. Defrel, he was a good, solid striker. Probably would have been very good for us in this team, as you would imagine. But he wasn't going to improve overall. He probably would have got replaced down the line. He was worth 9 million. So it just didn't seem much sense in holding on to it. Plus, like, when you play Football Manager, what's the point in literally taking the team that you've already got at hand and just playing, you know? You want to make your own little transfers and changes to the team to suit how you want it. You want to have a claim to, like, almost... Oh, is that a penalty? We've got a penalty. Who's taking a penalty? I want Gary Hooper on this. Gary Hooper on it. Where is he? Gary Hooper. 14 penalties. That'll do. Stick him on the penalty. Is the change actually going to take place before... I think Sensi's going to take it. He's picked up the ball. Gary Hooper isn't moving. It's not going to change, is it? Sensi's taking it. It's saved. I'm fuming. I'm not fuming. Well, I will be if we don't win this game. But I'm quite pissed off that it wouldn't take my changes and to put Gary Hooper on the penalty. Whoa! Ricci! First time volley. But you know what I mean? Like, there's no point literally going out there with the team that you've got without doing any sort of transfers of your own that make it unique. It's been a good half from the boys as well. I'm quite happy with how things have gone. I want to tell them it's been good. I know you're capable of better, and then just passionately tell them I appreciate their efforts. See if they get rallied up from that. You weren't bad. You weren't bad. It's had some positive impact. Right, I'm going to make sure that we close down sometimes. I don't want us to get stuck in, get sucked into some of the attacks that Udinese put forward. I think we're okay at the moment. I'm going to slowly start to maybe not take our foot off the pedal as in how hard we're going and how much we concentrate, but more or less just be a bit more careful about how we're moving and controlling the ball, because I don't want us to have a situation where we give it away and they go and score a counter-attacking goal. They seem to be the bane of my existence at 1-0 up. So I need to make sure that maybe we think about going defensive and cautious a little bit earlier on, which is something that usually in past FMs I've been, or previous saves on this game, I do too early, and this time I feel like maybe I've not done it as early because I want to make sure we secure the game. I'm taking off Duncan because I am afraid we might give away a yellow card. I'm going to stick Mazzatelli at the back. Not only save Duncan from the yellow card, but give Mazzatelli some game time. Politano on the left finds Pellegrini and Sensi almost holding hands in the centre there. As Pellegrini goes forward with the shot from distance, Carnezis has to punch it wide. And the green shirts scramble together to get hold of the ball as Pellegrini has the ball, looking for that pass to Gary Hooper. He somehow holds on to it. Ricci has possession, lays it off to Gary Hooper, who goes for a curling effort, but it's not on target. Right, looking at how things are going. I'm going to turn off run and defence. I just want us to slow it down a little bit, maybe take the instructions off. I think we're trying our tactic. Hasn't been the most fruitful so far. Just want us to be a bit more careful about how we're using and passing the ball. Politano whips that cross in. It's a low one. Gabriel Silva deals with it. Politano's got a second bite of the cherry as it's floated in. The ball is headed out. Sensi finds his way onto the ball. Pellegrini knocks it to Hooper. Gary Hooper! Oh, what a effort from outside the box. A thunderous strike. Rifles into the top corner. 15th goal of the season. 8 in the Serie A campaign. Duh, 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 duh. Da 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 da. What are you saying, mate? We have got an exciting game against Fiorentina and AC Milan coming up, and then we start our next cycle of 19 odd games in the league. So we'll start all over again, and I think the first one after that is against Bologna. And there we go. Game over. 2-0 to the boys. A lovely victory from us. Well played overall to see ourselves into winning form. Gary Hooper's firing just before the Christmas break, and we have the January transfer window opening up next time we rejoin. If you've got any suggestions for signings, do leave them in the comments section down below. Let me know what areas of the team you think we should strengthen up in, and I'll see you for the next one.